Rachel here with Rachelsuniquecrafts. Welcome. And today I just want to share my story, my testimony of a miracle. I believe that the Lord performs miracles in our lives for us to share that with people and, to build faith for them. I think that's when He performs the miracles. It's when He knows that we will share it with someone else. And I told the Lord I would share my testimony. I have 2 miracles, and this will be just the one. I mean, I have many miracles, but this one, 2 what I would call giant miracles. That's what I'm trying to say. So this one started back in 2014. It was December. But I'm going to back on up to September of 2014. I went to my eye doctor and everything looks good. Everything on the, they checked everything, dilated my eyes, and everything looked good. So then we fast forward to December of 2014. And one of my friends, her name is Rachel also, and I was talking with her, and for some reason I had covered my eye, one eye at a time, and I seen that when I covered my right eye, that my left eye was blurry. And so after church, we had went out to eat, and I shared that with her. It's funny because our names are both Rachel, and we have the same eye doctor. So I had seen him before, but it had been years before. So I went back and I called, got me an appointment. So this was in December. Let me get my story straight. This was in December. And when I was talking with her, and she was like, you need to go have that seen about. Any changes within your eyes, you need to tell the doctor. And I was like, okay, yeah, I need to do that. Didn't really take it serious, kind of concerned me a little bit, but not, wasn't alarming to me at first. But I kept thinking about it. And time rocked on. The new year came in. So I think it was maybe even into February of 2015 that I thought, well, she kept asking me, and so I did. I called in February and got me an appointment. And so the appointment, of course, was a couple weeks out, because I didn't act like anything was wrong. I just wanted a checkup with my doctor. So, and I'd just been in September, so, and everything looked good. So I called and got me an appointment. Went in, and his name is Dr. Todd Williamson, and his dad is also an eye doctor. They do eye surgery and stuff. His dad's Stoney Williamson. So my mom had already, always had seen Dr. Stoney, and my doctor was Dr. Todd. So I went in and I seen him, and I told him, I said, when I cover my right eye, and I'm just looking out of my left eye, there's a little blurriness. And I said, I've been having some headaches. So he looked, he checked, he said, well, I think there's a little compression on, on your optic nerve. He said, but I really can't see too much. So he called his dad in there and had his dad to look at me and look at the scans and everything. So he said, I think I'm going to send you to see Dr. Messenger. She's a neuro doctor. I said, okay. So that appointment took a good while to get in. Being a new patient, and everything, you kind of get put off a little bit. So I got in to see her, and I think that was about April, if I remember correctly. And she was saying, well, the headaches, if you take something for a headache today and then tomorrow you take something else, you can get rebound headaches, and, that could be the headache problem. But she decided to go ahead and order an MRI. And they did not get in no hurry, just to say the least. Not sure why, but needless to say, it was in May when I finally got my MRI. And so I left from getting the MRI, and they called me back and said, we need you to reschedule for another MRI. Said, we've found something and we just want to run some dye and do it that way. So that was alarming, because I remember that day I was standing in line with my husband at Chick-fil-A in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And so we were fixing to order, and when I got that call, and they tell you, well, we think we have found a tumor and you need another MRI. You think the worst. You think, okay, they've just done a head scan and now you're telling me there's a tumor. I lost it. I couldn't try not to tear up, but I did. I lost it. I remember just telling my husband, because I was on the cell phone, walking in to Chick-fil-A when they're telling me this. We were headed to Mobile to pick up a vehicle that my son had wrecked. So when I got that news, it was alarming, shocking. So I told him, I said, just get me, whatever it was I was wanting to eat. I said, just go ahead and order me that. And I took off to the bathroom, because we was just walking in Chick-fil-A. I didn't want to be, crying in front of everybody, because I didn't know. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know. All I was told is, we found a tumor and you need another MRI. I remember the ride, like 2.5 hours to Mobile, where we were going, and you think the worst, and my mind goes to, what if it's cancer? What if it's a cancer tumor? What if it's, So, not a good day. Not a good day. And, you know, it was like end of the next week before I could get in to do another MRI. So there was a lot of worrying, which we shouldn't do. The opposite of faith is worry. So, shouldn't worry. But our carnal nature and our human nature is worry, stress. So I went and did the next MRI. Then I had to get an appointment back to see my neuro doctor. And so, you know, I had started noticing this in December, and here we are. You know, we're into May now, and I know I have a tumor. And so, the next thing was when I got in to see her, no, my MRIs was in May. My appointment to see her was in June. So when I seen her, while I was there, she put in a call to Dr. Todd and told him, my doctor, and he's a specialist. And she told him what she had found. And so he said, tell her to come right on over when she gets done there. So, you know, that was very nice of him. You know, it was right there in the same area, a couple blocks away. And so I got there, and I guess she had sent over the results. So I went in, and he said, well, I have, I'm sorry, y'all, fidgety, and you start itching everywhere. I do. So I got in there, and he's like, okay, I have this surgeon in Jackson because they're going to have to go in back here. The tumor is on your optic nerve. So I don't know how much damage it's done or going to do to your eyesight in that eye when we do surgery. So he wanted to send me to a specialist. And I'm sorry I did not write down the name of what kind of specialist. But the doctor that he wanted to send me to was out of town. And so this is on Friday. And so he wanted to get me in there on Monday. He said, we need to do this. He said, I want you to go see him Monday. Is that okay if we get you in? I said, yes, that will be good. Because at this point, you know, I'm scared, not knowing what to expect. So the doctor that he wanted to set me up with was out of town. So his partner, which was a much younger doctor, he said he would do it. You know, he would take me as his patient. So on Monday, I went to see him, Dr. David Jones, in Jackson, Mississippi. And highly recommend him. He is an angel. So I got in there, and he said, okay, we can do this Wednesday. I said, okay. He said, what we're going to have to do is we're going to cut the muscles in your eyeball, and we're going to turn your eyeball sideways and get back in there and get that tumor off of that optic nerve. He said, if we can't get in there and we can't get it, we're going to have to cut this bone right here in your skull. We're going to have to cut that bone and go back in there. I knew what he was saying, but I didn't dwell on that because afterwards, I thought, you know, if they would have had to have cut that bone, how much more drama that would have been to me. And it's a good thing that I didn't really realize all that going into it. So on Wednesday, we go up to do the surgery. And it wasn't in the hospital, but it was in a surgery clinic. So they go in there, and I had a host of friends in the waiting room while I had surgery. I had my parents, sister, my brother-in-law, he's a minister. I had my pastor and just a whole slew of friends and family, and that meant a lot, you know. Makes you feel good to feel like somebody cares, you know. So we went into surgery, and before surgery, you know, my mom and my pastor and my brother-in-law, we all prayed, and the doctor came in, and my mom got his hands, and she prayed for his hands to be guided, or to guide, you know, his hands through surgery. And I went back. So I had the surgery, and Dr. Jones went out and he told my husband, he said, I don't give you any hope that you'll ever see out of that eye again. And so he had come in there to my room, and he said, he covered my good eye, and he says, can you see me? You know, I'm under anesthesia, and I don't realize that, okay, you're supposed to be seeing now. And I said, no, sir. Can't see. Can't see anything out of that eye. It's black. So, just naive me. It did not, and I'm glad it didn't, but it did not dawn on me that I was supposed to be seeing out of that eye at that time. So, coming out of anesthesia, I'm real groggy, so I go back to sleep. And my husband goes back home because my sister's going to spend the night with me. She's always been real good about staying with me overnight hospitals. And so she would give me ice all through the night. And, you know, they catheterize you when you go into surgery. I know that's not a pleasant thing to say or talk about, but it was an issue. And it fits into the story here. So they had undone my catheterization and wanted me to try to go to the bathroom, and everything in this eye is black. So can't go to the bathroom. And you know, before you can leave, you have to be able to titty. So they put me back in bed, and I told them, I said, I need to go to the bathroom, even though I can't go to the bathroom. I need to go to the bathroom. I said, my bladder's full. So they had to recatheterize me, and So they waited a couple of hours, and of course they undone it, you know. They let me empty my bladder, and then they took it all out, because I've got to be able to go to the bathroom before I can go home. And so it was 2 or 3 hours later, and the nurse came back in there and she said, "Can you see anything?" And I said, "I see like a tiny bit of just light, you know, just like a dim, very dim light, but I can't see anything." It was just like, you know, like just a dim light shining in my eye. So I couldn't see anything, but I could see that light. And she said, "Well, that's good." And I said, "But I've got a full bladder again. I don't go to the bathroom. I can't go to the bathroom." And so recatheterize me, empty my bladder, and they take it out. So a few hours later, they came back. "Can you see anything?" You know, every time they come in there, they're shining this light, and then they'll take it away. "Can you see anything?" And at that time, I said, "Well, I can see the light is a little brighter. It's kind of like I can't see a face. I can't see, you know, you could just kind of see a vague silhouette." "Oh, that's great." I said, "But I got a full bladder. Recatheterize me." After I try, they get me up, you know, every time to see if I can go to the bathroom. And of course I couldn't, so I had to empty my bladder again. So I think they redid that 3 times that night. But each time they came in and they were checking my eyesight. So when the next time they came in, they said, "Can you see anything?" And I said, "Well, I see better. The silhouettes of everything is getting a little bit more in depth, where I can see a little clearer, you know." So it was a little brighter than just a vague silhouette. And so a couple hours later, they came back, and same thing again. "And what can you see?" Well, by this time, you know, everything's still somewhat of a little blur, but I can actually see. I can see that I can tell, I can recognize that's my sister at the end of the bed, you know. Of course, she was there all night. She didn't get no sleep, giving me ice and water, and hence why I had to empty my bladder every little bit. But so over the night, gradually, the Lord was just healing my eyes so that I could have sight back in that eye. Because, you know, Dr. Jones, he went and told my pastor and my husband and everybody, "I don't give you any hope she'll ever see out of that eye again." Because when he checked me, it was black. So when he came back in the next morning, he came in there, and by that time I could see him. So God gave me that vision back. There's nerve damage because the tumor was sitting on that optic nerve. Your optic nerve, you know, gives you your sight. And he said, you know, it was damaged bad because we had to get it off of there. But he said the good thing is we didn't have to cut this bone here. We just undid the muscles and turned your eyeball sideways and went in there and got it. So by all the damage that was done to the optic nerve, when I close my good eye, everything is still a blur, but I can see the green grass. I can see the green leaves on the trees. I can see. So by taking that tumor out and all, it left this eye setting back a little bit further, and it's drooped. So it kind of sank down a little bit. So things that you don't realize until you have issues. If your eyesight is not, if your eyes are not just exactly, to the hair, to the exact point of being level and being able to turn, and move in the same and staying the same every way you move, you see double. So I was seeing double of everything, which opens up another issue. But I could see. So with the nerve damage of the optic nerve, there's times the eye gets tired, it gets stressed, and this pupil may be normal, and then this one may be tiny, tiny, and look like it's almost like a glass eye. The pupil does all kind of different crazy things because of the damage. So I've seen Dr. Todd, several times over the next few months, weeks and months, and it's all good. So I asked him, I said, what about, is there any fix? And I'd even asked my Dr. Todd to me see a double. And Dr. Todd had tried to see if we could get it fixed with some prism. Didn't matter how thick he worked with the prism in my classes, he couldn't get it. So he said the only other option would be muscle surgery. So I had my eye surgery in June of 2015. So we're going to fast forward to February of 2016. And I was set up with another doctor, I won't call his name, in Jackson. And he was going to do the muscle surgery. And here's where a lot of my pain comes from. So this had only been since my surgery 8 months, 7.5 months since my eye surgery. And so he's going to do the muscle surgery And he says, I've got to do muscle surgery on both eyes to get them exactly right. There's a hummingbird. So we said, okay. Because if they get the eyes just right, I can see single again. Now, when your eyes are not exactly the same, and you're not seeing but out of one eye hardly, your perception of depth is off. And I didn't realize that until my surgery. A lot of things I realized due to my eye surgeries. So, we scheduled the eye surgery. He said it should take 45 minutes. Okay. It was over an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. He came out and told my husband and I that there was a lot of scar tissue. And that he had to scrape a whole lot in here and clean all this up. And what he was doing, when he was scraping in there, he was damaging all those nerves. So, the good that came out of that surgery is if I look straight, I see single. But if I look up, if my eyes turn in any way whatsoever, I see double. So at least if I'm sitting there straight, I do see. Single. But what that left me is a lot of pain. I told my husband, I said, if I had it to do over again, I wouldn't have that surgery from him anyway. Because of all the scraping and all the damage that he did to the nerves in my eyes. That's what gives me the eye pain. And sometimes it literally feels like somebody just sticking a knife in your eye socket. I was working at private duty nursing agency and looking at a computer screen most of the day, looking at notes, and when I say notes, for one client, for 1 week of notes, some of them was like 80 pages of notes that you had to go through and verify credentials being on there, verify the time in, the time out, make sure there was documentation, every 2 hours, making sure that dates are right, all the things. And so, you know, looking at computer screen, looking at notes, looking at computer screen, looking at notes, running reports, comparing reports, and all the things led to my eyes being strained a whole lot. So that led to migraines. Migraines that I couldn't hardly get rid of, because by the time they start getting better, you're still sitting there straining them every day at work, 5 days a week. You're right back into it. I never had pain in my good eye whatsoever until the muscle surgery. So, not only did the surgeon that did the muscle surgery cause me more pain in bad eye, but now pain in my good eye. In case anyone wonders, no, I didn't sue him. No. Could I? Probably I could have. No. The same God that brought my eyesight back can heal my eyes. He's never failed me. He brought me through so much in life. My faith is in Jesus Christ. If he never completely just heals him, he's still a healer. He's still a healer. He still can heal. But I felt so bad, which I did not have this platform years ago when I had the surgery. But it dawned on me the other day. You know, I've been praying. I guess he impressed me. No, I did not hear an audible voice. But after praying, you know, when we pray and we talk to Jesus, you have to stop and listen for him to be able to talk to us. And it was just like I wasn't even thinking about my eyes. I wasn't thinking about, you know, making a video. I was praying. And when I got through, it's like, you haven't shared your testimony. You haven't shared the miracle. So I have my eyesight. I can look out straight and see. And since I've been home from work and retired, the stress from the migraines, I guess, the migraines has gotten a lot better. I got my hair tickling my forehead. And I'm believing that the Lord will completely heal my eyes. And if he chooses not to, guess what? He's already given me my eyesight back in my eye. he gave it to me that night. By that next morning, he had restored my eyesight back in that eye. And yes, he could have completely done it just like that, and it'd be perfect. There's a reason why he didn't. There's a reason. And I'm waiting to find out. Maybe it was because I was supposed to share my testimony. Maybe it was supposed to, share my miracle. So we will see. We will see. But, all things work together for the good of them that believe. And he's still my Savior. He's still my Lord. He's still my healer. And in him will I trust. We can't put our trust in earthly things. We need to put our trust in Jesus Christ. He's my Savior. And he is so faithful. And he has never failed me. And he will never fail me. He will never leave me alone. He will be with me. He told me he would stick closer than a brother. So, when he took the children of Israel through Egypt, through the desert, brought them out of Egypt and through the desert, he fed them. Their shoes, they never outgrew their shoes. He fed them. He gave them drink. He took care of them. He takes care of the birds in the sky. The hairs on our heads are numbered. The sands on the seashore are numbered. So my God knows everything. And he's going to take care of me. He's still the healer. And you can talk to him just like you're talking to anybody. Talk to him like he's your friend. Because he is your best friend. The best friend you'll ever have. And I just encourage you, if you don't know Jesus, get to know him. Call out to him and pray. And he will hear your cry. So until the next chapter of the miracle, because I believe it's coming. And if it doesn't, guess what? He's still the healer. And I hope this encourages someone. I hope that it helps you. I'm blessed. I'm not lucky in no way. I'm blessed. And I love the scripture that says I'm blessed and highly favored. So this is what I wanted to share with y'all. And I will be making another video on another miracle. Because the Lord has brought me through so much that I cannot tell it all. But there's a few things that are just, big mountains that he has moved for me. And this being one of them. So, I love you all. I hope y'all have a wonderful and blessed day. Speak blessings on people when you see them. And tell them, have a blessed day. Because in the Bible, it says, there's life and death in the power of the tongue. So, you know, speak blessings over someone when you see them. Tell them to have a blessed day. You know, speak positive and encouraging words, because there is life and death in our tongue. So, speak things as they should be, not as they are. That's Bible too. I love y'all. I hope each and every one of you have a wonderful and a blessed day and a blessed rest of the week. I hope you enjoy this video. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye, y'all.